I knew about the show from in the reverse order. I knew about the show from the toys, and then found the show, and just like I think these shows, particularly pre-internet, work where it like gives you a fabric or a text to be like, I know who these characters are. I know what the atmosphere is. And then I'm going to go with I spent a lot of time alone as a kid. I'm going to go and just like imagine sort of like how I fit into that universe.
Mm-hmm.
And my like imagining scenarios in the Gem universe was, for whatever reason, I imagined that my aunt Gem, I have no idea why that was the relationship that I had. My aunt Gem ran a private eye detective agency.
Yes.
And so I gave her another job. I was like, you should have another job.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for her going and solving crimes.
Oh, solving crimes.
Yeah. So I laundered my masculine fantasy through extreme femininity.
Wow, I love that.
Wow.
Wait, and so how old were you?
Starting at like 7, maybe.
Okay, so were you watching Gem in its original run or in
No,
syndication later?
And I do remember seeing it in sort of at the tail end of the original run, but I would have been like 5 or 6 by that time. But it ran nonstop on USA.
Constantly.
All the time.
Yeah.
So I got it then, and I would watch reruns of like Gem, Saved by the Bell, California Dreamin', California Dreams. I can't remember which it was. And then
California Dreams.
And then occasionally 90210, but even that to me was like too, this is so funny in retrospect, but even that like felt like too menacing. Like it felt like too
masculine?
Yeah, too masculine.
Or just like the consequences.
The consequences, like
intense.
Dylan's dad gets blown up at some point, and I was like, I was
gotta
like,
watch that show.
Yeah. So this is you're 7.
This is a lot to take in,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
You just said so many things.
We're gonna end up. I never thought I would say, I don't think we have enough time to talk about you as a child detective. I don't think we have time to focus on a 7-year-old Sherlock Holmes.
Do you remember what type of crimes you were solving? What type of mysteries?
Oh, I don't at all. I think like that for whatever reason that relationship was the most important thing. I can't quite understand it. But I think it was like, stuff that would mirror that would happen in the show. Like Eric's going to take down the company. We need to stop him from doing it. Like, platitudes really.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of, did you guys see the Adam Brody movie Kid Detective?
No.
It's along these lines so great. He's essentially an Encyclopedia Brown character, like a kid who like was like a great detective at 12 or whatever, and we meet him at like 32 and he's still trying to hold on to it, and it's very sad about like realizing you're aging and no longer special.
Oh god.
That sounds like the greatest movie I've ever.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It got slept on because it came out during lockdown, but it's so good. It's so good.
So this show really spoke to you. What was the reaction to like say your male cousins, with you being so into Gem the Holograms and not jumping all over a G.I. Joe?
I think I remember one time when I had to be 5. I remember explaining to an uncle in front of my mother and being like, I love Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is a movie. The characters' names are this. The actors' names are Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson. Like what I knew sort of the different lenses of like, here's the movie, here are the actors. Like they are not real people. They are. And then I'd be like, Bill Murray is on Saturday Night Live, and I talk about that very young. And I remember him just like looking at my mom and being like, "Your kid's friggin' weird, Nancy." And like that has always been the vibe in the family. Is they're like, this kid's a little off.
He knows too much.
He knows too much. Yeah. And it's like a little upsetting to hear him know what he knows and like what he's interested in. But they didn't like bully me. They were always kind.
Yeah.
They just did not know what to do.
So you didn't buy into the fantasy of film and television? Like, were you always thinking about?
I've always, for as long as I can remember, have known that there's this side of it and there's that side of it.
Interesting.
Okay.
So did you know much about were you interested in like animation production, or were you more fascinated by like, I know who the voice of Gem is, or the
No, that stuff I didn't quite crack, but it was
so
like
animation maybe remained a little mystical
yeah,
to you.
yeah, I think that's right. Like that's a thing that I couldn't sort of unpack or know this character from this. Although now I'm like, that's Britta Phillips from
Yeah.
Luna and Dean and like those things are, like many of us, how I relate to popular culture is like the text itself and everything that constructs the text and everything that's behind it. But that's been the case from the beginning.